So in this lecture we'll be studying the equilibrium of structures, and when we talk about the equilibrium we have to talk about the forces which are produced due to loadings, and with conjunction with the force we have reaction. So force and this reaction, when both of them are there, we have the equilibrium conditions. So equilibrium cannot be achieved without the reactions being there in the place. Okay, so now we'll learn the types of forces. Now we have already seen that there are predominantly three types of forces. First is horizontal force, second is the vertical force, and the third one would be the rotating force. And based on these three types we have further different classification, but which are not important as far as engineering mechanics is concerned. Then we talk about the reactions. The reactions we have of two types, internal reaction and the external reaction. Okay, now the internal reaction is given by the structure inside. So these are the internal reactions found within the structures, and the external reactions, these are given by the supports. So in a moment we'll be seeing what are the internal reactions and what are the external reactions. The thing that we have to consider here is reaction is always going to be opposite to the direction of the force applied. So here when we see the horizontal force, we see that the direction of the reaction is opposite to the applied force. Same way in the vertical reaction would be opposite to the direction of the vertical force, as well as the moment reaction that we are getting here, that is opposite to the applied moment. So if the applied moment is in the clockwise direction, the reaction would form as anti-clockwise. And always the reaction is also of the nature of what the force is. That is, if the force is translational, the reaction would be translational. If the force is rotational, the reaction would be rotational. Let us now understand what internal reactions are. Consider this structure on which there is this loading. So what we can do is if I just try to separate this structure, or if I try to break this structure from between, I will see essentially three reactions that are formed within the structure. These three reactions are, first is one would be horizontal reaction, second would be the vertical reaction, third would be a moment reaction. Always these three reactions are formed when we break a rigid structure. Okay. Now why are these reactions formed inside the structure? Consider we have these two scenarios where I have kept two different beams. One beam is made of thermocol, other beam is, let's say, it's made of steel. Okay, on both beams I am applying a load of, let's say, 10 kilonewton. So our common sense says that the beam that is made of thermocol, it might break, right? If I assume that both the beams are having the same cross sections, then definitely the steel beam is going to have more strength, and the thermocol beam would not be able to resist the load of 10 kilonewton. So the question is that why it cannot resist that load of 10 kilonewton? The answer is that it cannot give the internal reactions required to resist this load of 10 kilonewton. So these internal reactions, they come from the strength of the material itself to resist whatever loading is being put upon it. Okay, and once you write these internal reactions at one point, you need to understand that these 2 points are not separate points, but they are same points. We have broken the beam from that place, we have separated the beam from that place, so thus these 2 points are the same, essentially the same points. Okay, so the reactions whatever are formed on this first point, they have to be transferred to this second point, and when we transfer the reactions, the direction of the reaction has to be changed. Okay, the magnitude of the reaction remains the same, but the direction of the reaction always has to be changed. The reason being that when we combine both of them together, now we have broken the beam, and now if I try to combine both of them together, and let us assume that this reaction was not opposite in direction but was in the same direction. I did not change the direction. So what will happen when I combine them? I will get a force of 2V. V plus V, 2V. This force magically appeared. It was not there before, but it has somehow appeared here, which is actually wrong, right? there cannot be an external force without a force being applied there. Correct? Hence, it is also very important for the equilibrium of that joint, or for the equilibrium of this point, that the reactions whatever we get at first point, when we transfer them to the second point, the direction has to be changed, the magnitude remains the same. So these internal reactions set up in the body of the structure give the strength to sustain the loads. These reactions develop from the internal strength of the structure. These internal reactions are further transferred to the support from which we get external reactions. So these internal reactions, they travel through the body of the structure and finally they reach the external supports, where the external supports gives you the external reactions. So what we understand is the job of the support is to provide reactions to the forces coming onto it, right? But not all supports are able to provide all types of reactions. There are some supports which can provide you only one reaction. There are certain which can provide you two reactions, and there are other some supports which can provide you all types of reactions. All types of reactions meaning horizontal, vertical, and moment reaction. So based on this, we have different types and categories of supports. We will be learning what are different types of supports now. The first type of support is simple support. It is simply that we are placing a structure on 2 points. That's it. This is the most simplest kind of support that we can see even in the nature, or even in our day-to-day lives, when we keep or when we try to balance a thing between the 2 points. That is the most simplest type of the support. So when I talk about simple support, I need to also understand that how many reactions this simple support can provide me. So to understand what reaction the simple support can provide you, we will try to put different types of loadings or different types of force that we studied just now. The different types of force would be horizontal force, vertical force, and a moment force. So if I try to put this vertical force here, then we need to think that can this support give me a vertical reaction? Like if I am putting this vertical force, can this point go any down further? We need to check that. So it cannot move any further down. Thus we can say that your simple support is able to provide you a vertical reaction at that point. A reaction will be provided when there is no movement at that, especially when we talk about statics. In statics we talk about structures which are not moving, and if there is no movement and if there is a contact due to which there is a movement prevented, then definitely there is a reaction which is present there. So here we have a vertical reaction because this point is not able to move any further downwards, right? So a simple support can provide you a vertical reaction. Let us now put a horizontal force on it. So when I put a horizontal force, a simple support cannot provide you a horizontal reaction because you can see that simply the structure moves or it slides over the simple support. The third one is the moment or the rotating reaction. So due to this loading, my structure is going to deform somewhat like this. So now you can see these two ends of the beams, they are actually trying to rotate, and my simple support is not able to prevent this rotation. If the simple support was able to prevent the rotation, we could have said that the simple support is able to provide a moment reaction, but as you can see here, it is not able to hold those two ends from rotating. Thus we can say that a simple support cannot provide you a moment reaction. Alright. The next type of support that we can see is hinge support. Very important one. So in day-to-day life, a hinge support can be seen here, like in the door you can see. Then this is a type of hinge support. Here the connection from to this frame and this swing, that is a type of hinge support. So let us consider the most simplest type of hinge support, that is the door hinge. Okay, so consider that this is the door. Okay, let's say this is the knob of the door, and there is a hinge here. Let me just draw it a little bit bigger. And let us say we have a hinge here. Okay, so that when you push the door, it can rotate about this hinge. Let us say it rotates like this about the hinge when you push the door. Okay, this way it rotates. Now the thing that I want you to focus here is, if I try to pull the door in this direction, now this hinge is mounted to a wall, or hinge is actually it is fixed to a wall. Okay, so if I try to pull the door in this direction, will the door come out from the hinge? That is the question. So the door is not going to come out from the hinge. It means that the hinge is able to provide you a reaction in that direction, right? Let us say now the position of the door is like this, in a vertical direction, and if I try to pull the door now like this, will the door again come out from its position? It's not going to come out from the position. It means we can say that the hinge is able to provide you a vertical reaction also. But now if I try to rotate my door, the door easily gets rotated. Obviously it has to get rotated, otherwise how it will open, right? So there is a rotational movement here. It means we can say that a hinge cannot provide you a moment reaction, right? A hinge cannot provide you a moment reaction. So if I try to put a horizontal force, it can give me a horizontal reaction. If I try to put a vertical force, it can give me a vertical reaction. But if I try to put a moment or a rotational force, it cannot resist rotational force, hence it cannot provide me a moment reaction. Okay, so these are the characteristics of a hinge support. Further, there is one more thing, that this door, be it on any angle, if this was the position of the door, even if I pull it from this position, the hinge is not going to move, or the door is not going to come out from its place. So what I can say is that even if the force is in any direction, if the force is like this, or it is like this, or it is like this, the hinge will provide you reaction in any other direction possible. So a hinge support is such a support which can provide you reaction in any possible direction except the rotational reaction. It cannot provide a rotational reaction, but it can provide you reaction in any other direction. Okay. Next type of support is a roller support. So when we talk about the roller support is an idealization. Here it is shown on wheels, but there is actually no support that is on wheels, right? Hardly there would be any support which is actually on wheels. But this is an idealization, that this support allows movement in one direction. It resists movement in one direction and it allows movement in one direction. When I say it allows movement in one direction, it means that it cannot provide me a reaction in that direction. And when I say it resists movement in one direction, it means that it can provide me a reaction in that direction. So when I put a horizontal force on my roller, the roller will simply move. So it allows the movement in that direction, hence it cannot provide me a reaction, a horizontal reaction. When I put a vertical force on the roller, it does provide me a reaction, so it can provide a vertical reaction. When I put a moment, a rotating force, again it is not able to provide me a rotating reaction. So this is it cannot provide me a moment or rotational reaction. This is a part roller support. You can see we can slide this gate in one direction, but we cannot pull it up. It is fixed at its rollers, right? So this is a part type of roller support because it cannot rotate about that joint. But we have seen this case somewhere else where the support was only providing a vertical reaction, but it could not provide horizontal and moment reaction. Which was that support? That support was simple support. The simple support also had the same characteristics. Then what is the difference between a simple support and a roller support? A simple support looks like this, right? So I said that it is providing you a reaction in one direction. But what about if I put a vertical force like this? Is it going to hold this beam at this point and this point? It cannot hold that beam at that point. So in this case, even if you are putting a vertical force, it won't be able to give you the vertical reaction. So the main difference between a simple support and roller support is that roller support, no matter whether your force is upwards or no matter whether your force is downwards, in any case the roller will provide you a vertical reaction. But a simple support will provide you a vertical reaction when the force is acting only in one direction. Okay, that is the biggest difference between simple support and roller support. Now in mechanical, I think the slider crank mechanism or the piston of the engine, I think that would be a good example for a roller support. If you have seen the piston, like this is the casing, outer casing, and then there is a piston here like this inside. So this piston, it moves only in one direction. It moves upwards and it moves downwards, but it cannot move horizontally, right? So there is a resistance of motion in one direction, there is allowing of motion in one direction. So this can be modeled as a roller support, or we can call this as a roller support, right? And also this point is able to rotate, so it gives you it can allows you that rotation also. So this can be modeled as a roller support as well. Then the other type of support is fixed support. So fixed support, we have you can see these beams, they are integrally built into the wall, right? You can see even in this example how it is integrally built into that support. So if I try to put a horizontal force, like let us say in this case only, if I try to put a horizontal force, will it move in horizontal direction? That this is the only question that we need to ask, that whenever we put a type of force, is that support allowing the movement at that place or not? If the support allows the movement at that place, it means that it cannot provide the reaction. If the support does not allow movement at that place, it means that it can provide the reaction. So we can see here that obviously the support is not going to provide the movement, it is not going to allow the movement, hence a fixed support can provide you a horizontal reaction. If I put a vertical force, again it is not allowing the vertical movement, hence a fixed support can provide you a vertical reaction as well. And when I try to put a rotating force here, it is again not allowing the rotation of this joint, hence we can say that a fixed support can provide a moment reaction as well. So this is the characteristic of a fixed support. Next is internal hinge. So this is not a support but a type of connection between two segments. Internal hinge is it is connecting first segment with the second segment. Okay, same here, there are three segments here, 1, 2 and 3. So the internal hinge is just connecting them. The best and the perfect example of internal hinge that we see in our day-to-day life is our elbow. The elbow joint is a perfect example of internal hinge. What it does is it is simply connecting your lower arm to your upper arm, and whatever forces you put on your upper arm, those get transferred. I mean, the effect of those forces is transferred to your lower arm as well. Like, for example, this is your upper arm, here is your elbow joint, let us say, and this is your lower arm, your hand is there then, okay, like this. So if I try to put a force here, it cannot happen that only this part of arm it comes off and this part stays here. Obviously this cannot happen. Why it cannot happen? Because there is this elbow joint in between, and whatever forces you are putting on this upper arm, those are getting transferred to this arm as well. I mean, the effect of those forces is getting transferred to this arm as well. So there is a connection, there is an integral connection between your upper arm and the lower arm, right? So what an internal hinge does is, the only work it does is to transfer the reactions from one segment to the other segment, such that there is a continuity maintained in the structure, in the entire structure. Okay, this is the purpose of an internal hinge. Now, this internal hinge is, if we try to rotate this arm, this lower arm with respect to upper arm, can we do that? So what I mean to say is that we can easily rotate this arm like this, right? So like this we can do, like this we can do, right? We can rotate this arm. So this elbow joint is allowing the movement of, it is allowing the rotational movement, right? But what it is not allowing is, if I try to pull this like this, will this lower arm come off from your upper arm? Will this lower arm get detached from your upper arm? No, right? So it can provide you the horizontal reaction as well as it can provide you a vertical reaction, because if you are trying to put a vertical force, this arm does not get detached from this arm, right? So it can provide you a vertical reaction, it can provide you a horizontal reaction, but what it cannot provide you is a rotational reaction. So let me just plot this down, what it can provide and what it cannot provide. It can provide horizontal, it can provide vertical, it cannot provide movement. So these characteristics are again similar to one more support that we have seen. These characteristics are similar to hinge support. Yes, hinge support we have seen. So what is the difference between hinge support and internal hinge? The biggest difference between the hinge support and the internal hinge is, this is a hinge support. The biggest difference is the hinge support cannot move from its position. This hinge support cannot move anywhere else. It is fixed in its position. It cannot come downwards, it cannot move sidewards. Okay, but what about this internal hinge? This internal hinge can actually move in the space. It can go up, it can go down, but this hinge support, it cannot move from its position. That is the biggest difference between an internal hinge and a hinge support. So internal hinge is not able to provide momentary action. The job of the internal hinge is to only transfer horizontal and vertical reactions from one segment to other segment. The way how we analyze internal hinge is by separating the structure and the internal hinge. So we separate the structure and the internal hinge. See, you need to understand these 2 points are not separate points, they are one point only. We have just separated the structure at the internal hinge. So whenever we separate the structure at internal hinge, there will be these two reactions formed, and as I told you, an internal hinge cannot provide you a moment reaction. Thus, there are only two reactions that are formed, and these two reactions again we need to transfer them to this point. So when we are transferring them to that point, the magnitude will remain the same, but the direction is going to change, right? And I have discussed why the direction changes, because there has to be an equilibrium at that joint. You cannot have two reactions in the same direction. It will create another external force which is actually not there. So I'll be solving certain numericals which have internal hinge in them. In that also we'll be seeing how to solve a structure using internal hinge. Here also you can see in this case we have V2 H2. Here we'll have H2 V2 in the other direction. Then we have V3 H3 and H3 V3 like this. Correct? So this was about the types of reactions and the types of supports that we have. In the next lecture we'll be seeing what is a statically determinate and indeterminate structure. Okay, till then take care. Thank you.